Andor is what Star Wars should be. In recent years, Star Wars hasn't been at its best. We've been pushing on 8 years since there's been a good movie, and the TV shows we've been getting have been alright. The animated side of The Bad Batch, Clone Wars Season 7, and Tales of the Jedi have their moments where I'm on the edge of my seat, worrying about what is going to happen to these characters that I love. I remember when the final arc of the Clone Wars came out and I was excited. I had goosebumps watching Ahsoka fight Maul and Mandalore, and when she had to protect herself from the clones, especially Rex, I was sad, heartbroken even that seeing these best friends fight against each other was just horrible. Live action has been fun with all the adventures Din and Grogu go on in The Mandalorian, and Obi-Wan to me was alright. It wasn't what I was expecting, but they did get me emotional when Obi-Wan and Anakin and both had their heart to heart, where Anakin told him that he wasn't his failure, and that got me. Whenever I go into something, whether that's a movie, game, or TV show, I want to feel emotion for these characters that I'm seeing, whether that's sadness, anger, happiness, or just geeking out. And Star Wars just hasn't had that until Andor came out. Andor is different from the other live action shows due to its slow paced storytelling, and that's honestly perfect. I don't need to be jumping from planet to planet or fight to fight. What makes Andor special is its characters and its tone, because for the first time in a long time, we have normal characters, and a tone that always stays serious. The characters of Andor aren't force sensitive, aren't badass bounty hunters, or highly skilled in combat, they're just normal, and that's great. The characters of Andor to me are the most compelling since the original trilogy, because every side character has a purpose and a motive to enhance the plot. And that's very evident in Cassian's change from wanting to get away from the Empire and their fascist rule over the galaxy to wanting to destroy it. If Luthen didn't try and recruit Cassian, if he never met Karis and heard his manifestos, never met Keenan his devotion to his men, and if Cassian never heard Marvar's speech to keep fighting the Empire, there still would have been a rebellion, but they never would have gotten rid of the Empire if it wasn't for Cassian and his friends. But the show didn't always revolve around Cassian's adventure. We also got to see the fall of Cyril, the rise of Dedra, and how the rebellion got its financial backing with Mon Mothma's help. Honestly, I never really cared for Mon Mothma at all before the show, but man, I was rooting for her the whole time. I love how she's constantly worrying about her money troubles due to her financial backing to Luthen and the rebellion, and her devotion to that is just crazy. Mon throws her husband under the bus by moving all suspicion from her to him, and even marries her daughter off just so she can help back the rebellion and see the Empire fall and see a better galaxy. Now, Cyril is actually really important to the Star Wars timeline in my opinion because he basically kicked off the events of how Leia got the Death Star plans, and this dude is actually kind of really interesting to me. In a weird way. The main thing I loved about Cyril is the dynamic of him and his mom always giving each other shit, and I always found that really funny.
You might as well wear a sign that says, "I promise to disappoint you."
Seeing Dedra rise through the ranks of the ISB was cool, but when she became top dog, she became very terrifying. Her control over Ferrex was crazy to me, and especially when she tortured Bix, giving her Stockholm Syndrome, was so sad to me. I even shed a tear when she didn't want to leave with Cassian, and that's why I love her character. She's fucked up for no reason besides just loving the Empire. All these characters I just mentioned wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for the tone. Now don't get me wrong, I love the campiness of Star Wars, but when they start changing characters to appeal to a different audience, is something that I hate, and there's no sign of that in this. The serious / dark tone that has had glimpses in the past Star Wars media is what I live for. When Luthen let his comrade get killed because he couldn't lose his informant is a seriously fucked up thing, but I can understand that. I don't exactly like or hate his decision, and it is a hard one to make, but he did it to change the galaxy. When Cassian and Kino get to the end of the prison, Kino can't escape because he doesn't know how to swim. And when you see him look around at everyone escaping, he's just standing there, just lost. It's just heartbreaking. His hope of getting out was foiled twice, and I like that because I care about his character. I want him to make it out, but he can't, and that's why I love this show. Any character can die or get left behind at any moment, giving the show some weight to affect my emotions. And that's all I want Star Wars to be. I want it to be emotional. I don't want to laugh at every scene. I want to be engaged. I want to care about the characters. I want to be happy when they get their hope back. I want to cry when something touching is said. I want to hate the bad guy, but also love that they're evil. And that's what Andor does for me. Andor overall, to me, is the best Star Wars show. Clone Wars has its moments, and don't get me wrong, I grew up on that too. Mandalorian is really good, but compared to this, it's just clear out of the water. And Tales of the Jedi was really good for me, but I can see why other fans wouldn't really like it. And don't even get me started on Boba Fett. So yeah, Andor is the greatest Star Wars show to ever come out, and I hope more projects for Star Wars take its style later on down the line.